Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore. All the soccer news you need to know for Friday, January 31st. The transfer window in Europe is closing rapidly and things are getting weird. Yes, Atlanta United is involved in the things getting weird category, not with Miguel Almiron. He has actually arrived, and there were tons of Atlanta United fans at the airport to welcome him back to the A. He'll be officially welcomed back at 3 o'clock. Press conference will be streamed by Atlanta United, atlutd.com/live. That'll be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The SDH Network crew will be there, so stay tuned. Stay tuned on this as well. Reporting yesterday from Tom Bogert and Give Me Sport that a deal was basically all but done with Emmanuel Latte Lath, and that would go along with what was being said around town. Mike Conti talked about it on our Atlanta Soccer Tonight special edition. You can listen to that wherever you get your Off the Woodwork podcast or on the Odyssey app. But reporting this morning from Luca Bendoni, who writes for DiMarzio, which is affiliated with Sky Sports. This also goes alongside reporting from Nizar Kinsella, who is with the BBC. I'll read you Bendoni's tweet. Middlesbrough are open to accept Atlanta United's new bid for Emmanuel Latte Lath, worth £17 million fixed fee, £8 million in add-ons. Latte Lath is yet to approve the transfer. Parties waiting for his decision. Bendoni also included that 10% of the borough capital gains from the deal would go to Atalanta, so they kept a sell-on fee. Nizar Kinsella said the same thing. Tom Bogert said something different. So this is a really interesting situation. Again, I will point it out, Luca Bendoni, he's Italian. He works in Italy. Emmanuel Latte Lath's agent works in Italy. And according to his Instagram, Emmanuel Latte Lath's agent has not been in England any time as of late to be involved, at least in person, in getting things done. The deal would be the largest spend by an MLS team for a player, and it would be the largest transfer fee received by Middlesbrough. They're running out of time to get a replacement if that's what they're going to do. And by all accounts, that's what they are going to do. So it makes sense that the club would want to get this deal done and would be, as Bendoni says, open to accepting the bid. But Bendoni says that the player is yet to approve the transfer. I don't know if that means player slash agent. I'm not sure. But that's what is being reported as of about 7 o'clock this morning, Atlanta time. Also, West Ham are close to landing Benfica striker Arthur Cabral for around £15 million plus add-ons. That is according to the Portuguese outlet Record. So, as I've said pretty much all along during all of this, buckle up if you're an Atlanta United fan because this transfer saga could get really weird. I think we're edging towards that. Reporting yesterday that it was all but done. Reporting this morning that it's not. The players yet to approve it. So somewhere in there, the truth is not evident to us. So stay tuned. We will keep you posted on all of it as we go. Champions League draw this morning. Manchester City have been drawn to face Real Madrid, fourth season in a row that they've met in the knockout rounds. But keep this in mind, Luka Modric, Antonio Rudiger, Tchouameni, Endrick, Camavinga, and Bellingham have all already seen 2 cards in the league phase. If they get a third in the first leg in Manchester, they will be suspended for the second leg in Madrid. Elsewhere, Brest will match up with PSG in all Ligue 1 battle. Club Brugge and Atalanta, Juventus and PSV, Feyenoord and Milan, Celtic and Bayern, Sporting and Borussia Dortmund, and Monaco and Benfica. First legs February 11th and 12th. Second legs February 18th and 19th. The round of 16 draw will be on Friday, February 21st. Silly season updates. Al Nasser, they have been some of the stars of the silly season. They signed John Duran for a huge transfer. They went after Brighton's Kaoru Mitoma, but Brighton's not going to sell. It was a 65 million euro bid. Brighton expected a further offer. Al Nasser have walked away. Maybe one of the reasons they've walked away is Sky Sport Italia reporting that Al Nasser is going to make an offer to Milan between 70 and 85 million euros for Rafael Leao. He has a 175 million euro clause in his contract, release clause. They're not going to spend that, I don't think, but 70 to 85 million euro could get interesting today for Milan. Aston Villa, who they got that money for John Duran, they could go out and flip it to get Joao Felix and Marco Asensio. Felix is at Chelsea. It hasn't gone well in his return there. Asensio would be a really good fit, and those two would be a really good fit together. So stay tuned. Paulo Fonseca, who nearly became the manager of Atlanta United at one stage. He nearly managed Thiago Almada during his time here. He will now. He is the new manager for Lyon in France. Some updates on the women's side of the transfer window. Chelsea have agreed to an £800,000 deal for Kira Walsh, English midfielder. Not quite a world record, just under what Chelsea paid for Naomi Girma. Chloe Kelly is going to join Arsenal on loan from Manchester City. This one has been a bit of a mess. She needs to play ahead of the Euros this summer. There's been a lot of bad blood between Manchester City and Chloe Kelly. It looked like she was going to go to Manchester United, but City did not sanction that move, so she's going to Arsenal on loan. Adriana is headed from Orlando Pride to Saudi Arabia for $500,000, going to Al Qadsiya of the Saudi Women's Premier League. Highest transfer fee for a player sale in Orlando Pride history, top 3 in NWSL history. 6 goals for Orlando last season and was part of Brazil's silver medal run at the Olympics. Overall, women's soccer transfers topped $15 million for the first time in 2024. The latest report from FIFA said that a lot of this was driven by NWSL teams with new TV revenues to spend. They spent $5.8 million. 10 teams in the NWSL ranked among the world's biggest spenders. The year prior, it was only $6.1 million worldwide. Now it's over 15. Speaking of NWSL, Denver, they're going to be the 16th NWSL team, $110 million expansion fee, 2,000 season ticket deposits from fans, even though they haven't revealed stadium plans yet. They're going to come in 2026 alongside Boston. Ownership group led by Rob Cohen includes Project Level and First Tracks Sports Ventures and additional investors. They are going to play in their own stadium as well. They haven't released the plans for it yet or released what they're going to do for a short-term home or a training facility, which is interesting. The moving into their own stadium was what seemingly put this bid over Cincinnati's, for example. They would have shared TQL Stadium with FC Cincinnati. I hope the plan is there. I would assume that it is, but it's not public yet. So, as I say, stay tuned. MLS, the League's Cup, will return for a third season. As we've talked about, 18 MLS teams, 18 Liga MX teams. It's the top teams, top 9, the playoff teams in each conference, with one exception. Vancouver will not be part of it because they're playing in CONCACAF as well as their Canadian Championship. So San Diego FC will take their place from the West. Each team's going to play 3 matches against 3 opponents from the opposite league. And in the way that you advance, it's kind of like Champions League in the sense of a different kind of table. You're not in groups. The top 4 from each league. So the top 4 MLS teams, top 4 Liga MX teams will then go into the quarterfinals where they'll be paired against one another. The tournament's going to start July 29th. It's going to run through the final on August 31st. One weekend break in the MLS season, August 2nd to 3rd. That will allow for Leagues Cup matches. Otherwise, you're going to see the tournament play in midweeks. Minnesota, they've signed Nicolas Romero from Atletico Tucumán in Argentina. New York Red Bulls, they have signed Raheem Edwards via free agency. Ricardo Pepi injured in the win over Liverpool in Champions League. He scored the winner, 17 goals in 28 appearances. But according to reports out of the Netherlands, he will be unavailable for the foreseeable future. Could be 9 months, or it's not an injury that will keep him out for 9 months, but it could keep him out for the rest of this season. It's not an ACL tear. Not sure exactly what the injury is, but that could affect U.S. men's national team. It definitely would for Nations League. I don't know what it would affect for the Gold Cup if Pepe would have been part of that. Other stuff, Barcelona, soap opera part 538. The Rolling Stones concert that was going to be held at the temporary venue that Barcelona is playing at. It was going to be on the same weekend as El Clasico against Real Madrid. That concert by the Rolling Stones is not going to happen. So now Barcelona have asked La Liga for an extension that would allow them to play games there at the Estadio Olímpic, and that would keep them there through May 20th. That would mean they could host Real Madrid there. So the whole conversation about being back in the Camp Nou in time for the Madrid match was never going to happen. Just file that one away with all the other things that you can file away in that Barcelona box of files, because I just don't get it at this point. I do get this. I've said it many times. Atlanta is Soccer City, USA, and the SDH Network is partnering with Emory University's Stuart A. Rose Manuscript Archives and Rare Book Library on a 6-event series to explain why Atlanta is Soccer City, USA. The first event will be February 24th. Save that date. Hopefully, you can join us. We're expecting a 7 o'clock start, and we will announce the location next week for that. Obviously, somewhere in the vicinity of Emory University would be a safe bet if you're trying to pencil things in. But hopefully, you can join us for February 24th. And hopefully, you can join John Nelson for SDH AM this morning, 9:05 on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X. Probably more conversation about Miguel Almiron's return. Probably more conversation about Emmanuel Latte Lath and what is going on there. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Stay tuned. Thank you for listening to this edition of the Morning Espresso. We'll be back on Monday with more updates. And don't forget, Atlanta United, Birmingham, Saturday, 4:30 kick from Birmingham, Alabama. You can watch it, atlutd.com/live.